Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a deep, shocking, and emotional story that might just change the way you see some of your favorite stars forever. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and get ready because this one is messy, dark, and heartbreaking. Let's start from the beginning.
The time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything.
Being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So, yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me.
Get it? So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most, and so they end up...
The fall of Justin Bieber. When Justin first came into the spotlight, he was just a kid with a dream. He had that sweet voice, floppy hair, and a big smile that made the whole world fall in love with him. But what the world didn't know was that behind that smile was a teenager struggling with pain, pressure, and something way darker. Justin Bieber's drug abuse origin, Justin once opened up and admitted that during a really tough time in his life, he was doing all kinds of drugs. He said he was a sipping lean, which is a mix of cough syrup and soda. He was also popping pills, taking Molly, using shrooms, all kinds of stuff that no kid should ever be touching. He said it was happening because he was young, famous, and didn't know where to turn. He trusted people who told him they loved him, but the moment he needed help, those same people turned their backs on him. Imagine being just a teen, surrounded by adults who act like they care. But the moment you cry for help, they disappear. That's what happened to Justin, nah? And that's how his drug problem started. He didn't start doing those things just for fun. He was trying to numb the pain. He didn't feel like he had anyone real around him. That's a scary place to be in, especially when you're still growing up.
New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was,
So nobody... And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could.
Yeah. Send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no. I stayed up longer than them.
Would you ever
Justin said some of the guys he knew in the industry struggled too. They couldn't get certain things out of their heads, stuff that happened to them when they were drunk or high. He said they felt like they lost their almond card, like they weren't real men anymore because of what was done to them. Ow. He said what they really needed was therapy, but instead, they just suffered in silence. Now here's where it gets real crazy. Diddy's alleged involvement in Justin's trauma, according to reports and rumors, Selena Gomez, who used to date Justin, has finally spoken up. She stepped into the spotlight again after all this drama about Diddy started, and what she had to say shook the internet. Selena reportedly said that Justin once told her he had been sexually assaulted by Diddy, and not just Diddy, but Odell Beckham too. Yep, that's right. Two of the biggest names in entertainment and sports. She said Justin confided in her about what happened, and that's when she started to realize just how deep his pain went. The streets are saying that Justin didn't just meet Diddy on accident. He was introduced to Diddy by Usher when he was just 15 years old. Who was also mentored by Diddy when he was a teenager, thought it would help Justin's career, but instead it became the beginning of his nightmare. Even though Justin didn't officially become Diddy's mentee, he still spent a lot of time around him. And Diddy had his ways of causing damage. According to Selena, Diddy gave Justin access to drugs and brought him into dangerous environments at such a young age. That's when the addiction really took over Justin's life. And it gets worse. Selena's downfall linked to Justin's addiction. Now let's talk about Selena Gomez. At first, everyone thought she and Justin were just a sweet couple who had their ups and downs. Maths. But now we're learning that their relationship was built on something much more painful. Selena didn't start out as a drug user. She was clean, healthy, and focused on her career. But after spending so much time with Justin and trying to help him through his trauma, she ended up getting pulled into his dark world too. People close to her said she began drinking heavily and trying substances herself. At one point, it got so bad that both of her kidneys were damaged. She needed an urgent kidney transplant just to survive. And yes, this was during the time she was with Justin. Her best friend literally gave her a kidney to save her life. That's how serious it was. All of this happened because Selena was trying to be there for Justin. She was trying to help him deal with the pain he had been carrying for years. But instead, she got sucked into the same hole he was trying to escape from. Their shared trauma bonded them, but it also tore them apart. The love they had for each other wasn't enough to fix the damage that had already been done. And the craziest part? This is just the beginning of the story. From Usher to Diddy, the mentorship that destroyed everything we already talked about, how Justin Bieber's life started spiraling out of control at a young age. He was just a kid when he was exposed to drugs, fame, and shady people who didn't care about his well-being. But now, let's go deeper, because this next part of the story gets even darker. Usher's role in connecting Justin with Diddy. Now, here's something that really shocked a lot of fans. You see, Usher was like a big brother to Justin. So, he discovered him, believed in his talent, and helped launch his music career. People thought Usher was looking out for Justin. But now, many are starting to question his choices. Because guess what? Usher was the one who introduced Justin to Diddy. Yep. When Justin was just 15 years old, Usher brought him into what they called a mentorship program with Diddy. Sounds innocent, right? A mentorship should help someone grow. But this one? It was anything but. Here's where it gets ironic and super disturbing. Usher himself had been mentored by Diddy when he was just 14. He once revealed that back then, he had to go live with Diddy in New York for a year. It was supposed to help him gain experience in the music world. But when Usher later talked about it in interviews, he admitted that what he saw at Diddy's place was wild and inappropriate. Stuff a teenager should never be exposed to. He said the place was full of women, people partying, drinking, staying up all night. It was chaos. Plus, when someone asked Usher what exactly he was seeing at just 13 or 14 years old, he couldn't even explain it. He said it was a pretty wild and just shook his head. But here's the part that's the most shocking. Even after going through all that himself, Usher still decided to send Justin Bieber into the same environment. He didn't say no. He didn't protect him. He passed him straight into the hands of Diddy. And you know what's even more chilling? Later in an interview, someone asked Usher if he would ever send his own kids to stay with Diddy like he once did. Usher didn't even hesitate. He said, "Hell no." So let that sink in. He knew it was dangerous. He knew it wasn't a place for kids. And yet, he still allowed Justin to go there. That's when Justin's world truly started to crumble. Creepy promises and red flags from Diddy after Justin was introduced to Diddy. Things started getting really weird. At first, Diddy acted like a cool big brother. He gave Justin attention, praised his music, and even spoiled him with gifts. But then, it crossed a line. A video resurfaced recently that made a lot of fans extremely uncomfortable. In the video, Diddy is talking to a 16-year-old Justin Bieber, and what he says raised a lot of red flags. Diddy told Justin that as soon as he turned 16, he was going to let him drive around in a Ferrari like it was no big deal. Then, he said that when Justin turned 18, he would get a whole mansion. Yes, a mansion, a full house. Now you might be thinking, maybe he just liked Justin and wanted to spoil him. But hold on. When you watch the video, Justin's face tells a very different story. He looks confused, nervous, and honestly, kind of scared. Like he didn't understand why this grown man was offering him such expensive things. Like he didn't even want the gifts. And think about it. Why would a grown man promise that to a teenager he wasn't related to or working with officially? People on the internet were quick to say it looked like grooming behavior, and many fans said they got a creepy vibe from the whole video because it wasn't just the gifts, it was the way Diddy said it, like he owned Justin or something. In the clip, Diddy smiles and says, "This is going to be yours. And when you turn 18, you get the house." He sounded way too excited about giving a mansion to a minor. It was clear that something was off. Diddy's obsession and Justin's fear after a while. Justin started to realize that Diddy's attention wasn't normal. It wasn't healthy. It was obsessive. So Justin began pulling away. He stopped answering Diddy's calls. He avoided parties and events where he knew Diddy would be. He didn't reach out for advice anymore. And slowly he tried to distance himself. But Diddy wasn't having it. In another video, Diddy is seen confronting Justin. Then, he looks at him and says something like, "You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to." Justin stutters and tries to explain himself. He's clearly uncomfortable. He looks like he wants to run. His voice shakes. He says that Diddy hadn't really tried to get in touch with him directly, only through business people, and that's why he hadn't been in contact. But the whole vibe of the conversation? It was tense. Justin looked like a scared kid trying to find the right words so he didn't upset a powerful adult. Keep in mind, Justin was still underage when this happened. Why would he be this nervous just talking to someone who's supposed to be his mentor? And here's something else. Justin's behavior didn't just show fear. It showed that he was done. Done with being around Diddy. Done with the games. Done with the fake mentorship. He didn't want to be another puppet in Diddy's world. He had seen enough. But sadly, Diddy wasn't ready to let go. Passed around, abused, and betrayed. The story gets worse so far. We've seen how Justin Bieber went from a sweet young star to a scared, confused teen caught in the dangerous world of Hollywood. We talked about how Usher introduced him to Diddy, Giddy started acting creepy with gifts and promises, and how Justin tried to run away from it all. But just when you thought things couldn't get worse, they did. Now, the story takes an even darker turn because the rumors say Justin wasn't just harmed by Diddy. Allegations of exploitation by other celebs. There's a scary rumor going around that says Diddy didn't stop at abusing Justin himself. Once he was done with Justin, he allegedly passed him around to other powerful men in the industry. One of those names that keeps coming up is Odell Beckham, a famous football player. Yes, you read that right. People on the internet started whispering about a secret relationship between Justin and Odell. At first, it just seemed like gossip. But then something happened that made the rumor explode. A video surfaced online, a disturbing video that showed what looked like Justin Bieber at a party with Odell Beckham. In the clip, Justin was on his knees, and it appeared like he was giving oral sex to someone while Trey Songz stood nearby, keeping watch like a lookout. The person he was with? People say it was Odell. When Justin raised his head in the video, his lips were visibly wet. His eyes looked panicked. He noticed someone recording and immediately looked frightened, like he was caught doing something he didn't want anyone to see. Some people tried to defend him. They said, no, he was probably just high, or he didn't know what he was doing. But others were convinced. They said Justin wasn't just high, he had been forced into something against his will. And this wasn't the only time something like this happened. There was also a moment at a party where Diddy and the gang were seen giving Justin multiple drinks. Even though he was clearly already faded, Justin looked out of it like he didn't even know where he was. Fans watching the video were furious. One person posted it online and said, "Oh, video of P. Diddy and the gang giving Justin Bieber drinks is going viral. People believe Justin was drugged and taken advantage of multiple times at this party." This was no longer just gossip. These were serious signs of exploitation. And yet, no one around Justin seemed to help him. No one stepped in. Industry enabling of underage drinking and abuse. This is one of the worst parts of the story. By now, it was obvious Justin was in trouble. He was a teenager, surrounded by adults getting drunk at parties and possibly being used by some of the most powerful people in the business. But here's the thing, the industry didn't stop it. In fact, it allowed it to happen. Big stars, famous producers, security guards, assistants, agents. They all saw what was happening to Justin, but nobody said anything. Nobody pulled him aside and said, "This isn't okay." Nobody called the police. Nobody protected him. Instead, they let it happen. They gave him more drinks. They looked the other way when Diddy acted weird. They laughed when Justin showed up high. Some of them may have even helped cover things up. This kind of silence is what made things so much worse for Justin, because he wasn't just dealing with abuse, he was dealing with abandonment. Everyone saw the signs, and they ignored them. That's the same thing that happened with Selena Gomez. She was trying to support him, but even she couldn't fight the machine. She got pulled into the chaos, got addicted herself, and nearly lost her life. Hollywood can be a very dark place when you're young and vulnerable. And for Justin, it was like being trapped in a nightmare with no one to wake him up. Jaguar Wright's explosive claims. Then came Jaguar Wright. If you don't know her, she's a music insider who's been in the game for a long time. She's known for spilling the tea on big industry secrets. And when she finally spoke up about Justin and Diddy, she didn't hold back. Jaguar did an interview with YouTube blogger Storm Monroe, and the things she said were chilling. She confirmed that Justin had been played with by Diddy, not just him, but also by a bunch of other men in the industry. She said Justin had been passed around, like some kind of toy for powerful people. She even mentioned the viral video of Justin and Odell, and she didn't sugarcoat anything. Jaguar said it wasn't white powder Justin was wiping from his mouth. She said Justin had been forced to perform that act and that it was part of a sick pattern in the industry. She said, "That wasn't powder. That was fluid. Justin wiped it off his lips after getting up from Odell's lap. Now that is heavy." Jaguar also warned people not to ignore what's been happening. She said that the same thing that happened to Justin is happening to other young stars, and the media keeps covering it up. And the scariest part, Justin is still dealing with the trauma, still broken, still fighting those old demons. Jaguar believes that what happened with Diddy and the rest didn't just turn Justin into a substance addict, it actually changed who he was. It made him start experimenting with men, even while he was still with Selena. She said the trauma twisted his identity, and he's been trying to figure out who he really is ever since. Lost, broken, and still searching for peace by now, you already know this isn't just a story about a pop star's fall from grace. This is a story about pain, betrayal, and how fame can destroy a person when the people around them care more about money than their mental health. We've gone through Justin's past with Diddy, the creepy promises, the abuse, and how other celebrities like Odell Beckham and Trey Songz were allegedly involved. We've talked about how Selena Gomez tried to help him, but ended up nearly dying herself. And now, we get to the final part of this heartbreaking story. Trauma still haunting Justin in his adult life today. Justin Bieber is a grown man. He's married to Hailey Bieber, and from the outside, it looks like he's trying to live a normal life. But even now, the trauma he experienced as a teenager is still with him, and it keeps showing up in strange and sad ways. Let's talk about that viral Coachella video. If you haven't seen it, it's a clip of Jaden Smith. Yes, Will Smith's son, walking up behind Justin during a conversation at the music festival. Jaden gets super close, holding Justin by the waist, pressing his body up behind him, and even seems to kiss him on the neck. People were shocked. Some fans said it looked innocent. Others said it looked way too intimate. But many said it was just more proof that Justin never fully recovered from what happened in his teen years, that his boundaries are still messed up, that he still doesn't know how to protect himself around certain people. And that wasn't the only red flag. Remember when Justin was chased by police, resisting arrest, and got hit with Dewey charges? That was during the time he and Selena were deep in their substance abuse. He was just spiraling, trying to numb his pain. The world called him a bad boy, but now we know he was just crying for help. And then there's that heartbreaking video of Justin and Selena in a sketchy neighborhood in LA. They were caught on camera, wandering around, looking for a drug dealer. A random person spotted them and started recording. You can see Justin and Selena looking ashamed, trying to avoid the camera. They weren't superstars in that moment. They were just two broken kids, lost in addiction, looking for an escape. One witness even told Radar Online what happened that night. Next, she said Justin and Selena came into a store, asked for the bathroom key, went to the back for a few minutes, and left without buying anything. She didn't know what they were doing, but it was clear something was off. Selena tried her best to be there for Justin. She really did. But the trauma was too big. She started getting sick. Her organs were failing. She had to leave him to save herself. That's when Justin moved on and eventually married Hailey. But the pain? It followed him. Fans have pointed out how Hailey often looks stressed around Justin. B. He sometimes snaps at her in public. Sometimes he seems distant or overwhelmed. People say he's not healed, and that now she is carrying the weight of his past too. The truth is, Justin was never given the chance to grow up safe. He was used, manipulated, and betrayed by the very people who claimed they loved him. And even though the world judged him, called him names, and turned on him, he was always just a victim. A kid trying to survive in a world that never gave him the love he needed. One fan said it best in the comments, "It breaks my heart that Justin is truly a victim, and he's about to be 31, and people are just now listening to him. Decades of trauma, and people are still just going at him for things he did as a kid." Another person wrote, "I feel so very bad for Justin." It's like he was a victim and acted out as a cry for help. He didn't get that help. He was vilified by the press and public. And that's the sad truth. Now the question is, will Justin ever truly heal? And how many more young stars have to go through the same nightmare before something changes in Hollywood? Let us know what you think in the comments section. That's it for now, and thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for many more celebrity updates like this coming soon. Have a nice and peaceful day, fams.